Oh, we're live already?
That's right.
All right.
I tricked you.
There it is. Well, thanks for tricking me, but now this is boring for people, so sorry, guys. Trick's on you.
No.
Joke's on you.
Pre-show things, you know what I'm saying?
Check.
So, what's up, Joe? What's up, Shia, her? Shia, her?
Okay, we ready?
That gave me the juice.
I'm glad that it did.
I'm ready.
Okay. Hello and welcome to Anatomy of Marriage Radio. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
Good morning, my friends. My name is Seth Studley. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. This show is real help for real couples, and we are glad that you are here with us today.
Today, we are talking all about how to save your marriage from COVID-19 because divorce rates are on the rise, like big time.
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy is I read a bunch of information. Actually, I'm going to share it with you. But before I do that, we are live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube like we do. We're doing what, Tuesday, Thursday now?
Tuesday, Thursday. That's right. So you guys send your questions on the Facebooks, on the Instagram, and the YouTube if you want to interact with us. And thank you for being here.
Yes.
Welcome.
So we're going to dive right into some of the information that I have here. And it says, this is from an article, who cares where it's from? The coronavirus pandemic has dealt a serious blow to marriages in the United States amid a 34% increase in the sales of divorce agreements. And revelations that it took just 3 weeks under quarantine for most relationships to crumble.
Wow.
And it is hitting the newlyweds the hardest. So the more years you've been married, the less likely it is that this is going to impact you. And let's just talk about that for a second.
That's right. Well, that makes sense because newlyweds, we just got married. Let's get this thing going.
We know nothing about life.
Right. We're so excited about stuff. And then boom, a major life event. Yeah. In therapy world, we call it a nodal event. Something big happens, right? And so we just don't know how to adjust, right? Sometimes we don't set ourselves up for success, you know? And one thing that I don't know, this is maybe from experience and from being married for longer than a minute. When COVID-19 started, like January, February, March, when it was like, oh, this stuff is real, you can go back, and I'm actually so proud of this, like on record, saying repeatedly, I want to act now, where in 6 months, 3 months, when this stuff is over, in a way that I will be proud of, you know what I'm saying? And I think I'm going to kind of talk into that, not to sidetrack anything, but just talk to that for a minute. Like, what does that embody? Right? That folks can learn, that I can remind myself. What does that embody? We're future casting.
Ooh, hello from Egypt.
Ooh, hello.
Hello.
Marhaban esmi.
Oh, geez.
Seth.
Is that not Egyptian? I don't think.
It's Arabic.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Seth. So,
Hattie says, Marhaban, it's me, which is so cute.
Anyway, good to see you from Egypt. I'm so glad you were here. Welcome.
You too.
So what was I saying? Oh, from a growth mindset perspective and this thing we call future casting.
Right.
Like we can future cast in an obvious positive way or a negative way, right? And I chose to future cast. Okay, I don't know what this is going to be, but I see myself coming out on the other side. Right. Maybe not better for it, but I want to look back and go, oh, I didn't lose my brain. Right. I didn't do all kinds of crazy stuff. I got prepared. Like for a minute there, we were like, oh, this is kind of panicky. And it made me look at our finances. It made me look how well prepared we were as a family and stuff. And over and over and over said, I want to look back in 6 months and say, okay, we weathered that well. Right. It wasn't the best time, right? It's boring. Right. And I mean, luckily we haven't had people die or people close to us, super close to it that have gotten sick. Right. So I want to look at it that way. Right.
And I like that idea because I recently heard it was in a Gay Hendricks interview with the Love Hour podcast, which, oh my gosh, stop what you're doing right now. Pause our show and go listen to Gay Hendricks on the Love Hour podcast. It was only like last week or the week before. And he talked about this idea of having a vision so strong that it pulls you forward versus trying to push an old vision forward, right? And he used the analogy of like, you never see a Clydesdale pushing a cart. They're only ever pulling a cart, and being drawn towards a vision that is strong is much easier to attain and reach.
So they're leading the cart too. They're not pushing something or an entity or themselves.
Don't push the entity
towards something. They are leading from the front.
Right.
I just heard a quote yesterday on a podcast. Let's see. Leading by example isn't the only way to lead. No, isn't the best way to lead. It's the only way to lead. Like leading by example. So what does the Clydesdale do? He's out in front, guiding the thing, right? Okay, that's good.
Very feet. And so we have 5 things that we wanted to talk about specifically for how to get through this time without your marriage being the thing that loses out. Because what people are realizing, and we receive emails about this all the time, is they're like, I'm going crazy. Like, I don't know what to do. Maybe my partner lost their job. We're together all the time. Everything feels uncertain. There's no routine to our day. Everything has been interrupted, and it's not going back to normal anytime soon. Even if you're going back to your job, like we have friends that are teachers, they're going back to their job, but it's incredibly stressful. So it's not like easy or like it used to be. Everything is different. So we've got these 5 takeaways that we wanted to talk about. But before we do that, I want to talk about this idea of, I was reading this article about the coronavirus and how it's impacting marriages and relationships. And I came across this thing called the phases of disaster, which I thought was really interesting. I'd never heard of it. And so I want to just do a really quick run over, because
I've heard of it.
There's phases of disaster. And this is actually from SAMHSA, which is the Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration. So this is kind of in relationship
federal entity
to like, but in the phases of disaster, and you can speak to any of these, I don't know. There's pre-disaster, which is characterized by fear and uncertainty, which all of us felt. There's a pandemic
anticipation
coming.
Of the unknown, what's going to happen.
You can feel vulnerable. There's a lack of security. There's fear, sense of loss or control, all these other things. And it's sort of like the beginning, the fear. The phase 2 is the impact phase, which is characterized by a range of intense emotional reactions. So think of, I don't know, is this the wrong thing to think of, like a natural disaster? Yeah,
it could be a hurricane. It could be a natural disaster. It could be a pandemic, or if you're in a war-torn country, the airstrikes are coming, or, I mean, that's obviously extreme example. Like the event is happening, right?
Right.
So like a hurricane coming.
Right.
You know that it's coming.
And this says slow, low-threat disasters have psychological impacts that are different from rapid, dangerous disasters. As a result, these reactions can range from shock to overt panic. Initial confusion and disbelief typically are followed. And so then phase 3 is a heroic phase. And I want you to think about your own time, just in COVID, like we've all basically done this. Number 3 is the heroic phase. And that is characterized by a high level of activity with a low level of productivity. During this phase, there's a sense of altruism, and many community members exhibit adrenaline-induced rescue behavior. And even in that could be the COVID version of, I'm going to learn French. This is the time to relive my life.
Well, yeah, I mean there's an overly optimistic view there. Like, I'm gonna learn how to bake and bake a cake and bake bread every day while teaching kids French, or whatever. That's an unrealistic thing. But this is like, in the disaster,
people
who needs stuff? I know some first aid. Let me go over here. It's a very altruistic. It's almost like and I love stuff like that, because not disasters, of course, but I love kind of lizard brain, like anytime that our cars have broken down, or name something like when a tree has fallen down or something, we're like, okay, there's no arguing. When
I cut my leg open.
That's right.
With a utility knife.
Yes, for that. There's no.
Would you gotta act like I'm being weird?
There's no thinking. There's only doing and acting in a good way, and I love that. It's like you feel alive. It's like a dip in a cold water. Dip in a cold water.
It's like a dip in a cold water.
I don't need to learn French. I need to learn English.
That was funny. Phase 4 is the honeymoon phase, which is characterized by a dramatic shift in emotion. During the honeymoon phase, disaster assistance is readily available. Community bonding is happening. People are optimistic. And then phase 5. This is where most people are signing their divorce papers.
Right.
The disillusionment phase. And this is a stark contrast from the honeymoon phase. During this disillusionment phase, communities and individuals realize the limits of disaster assistance. Optimism turns into discouragement, and stress continues to take a toll. And sort of all the negative stuff comes to fruition, right? This is where stuff starts to get real.
So that's where a lot of people are now. And I found myself in that mode, honestly, last week when obviously kids aren't in school. You know, they're doing homeschool, and which is
barf.
Well, it is kind of barf. I mean, it's good, but it's kind of like barf. It's not whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And then like silly. I'm going to work, and there's still nobody there. It's just boring. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then the wildfire smoke and stuff. So my whole world was just like covered in smoke, and I honestly couldn't even breathe. My lungs were affected. No, that's not a joke. I was outside way more than you
couldn't even breathe, guys.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a miracle of life that you're here because you couldn't even. Seth couldn't even. Seth is like, Becky, I can't even. I can't with this smoke. My house ain't on fire, but I can't with this smoke. Anyway, you were in the disillusionment.
Can you go on for how long can she go, folks? Anyway, disillusionment, kind of like, oh, this.
Right.
It was getting to me, right? And I know, so I don't want to like minimize any of this stuff because people have family members who have died, people have lost jobs, people have been all kinds of stuff.
Terribly affected, yeah.
Right. So mine isn't compared to other people, right? But I did feel, this is crazy. So I really had to think, wait a minute, what does life even do? Like, I mean, we go to Starbucks, we go to restaurants, we do this, we do that. There's more to life than like, okay, let's focus on actual relationships, right? And a lot of people, like, I don't know, we talked about maybe 3 months ago that there was an exorbitant increase in alcohol consumption, weed consumption, because weed's legal in a lot of places, and porn consumption. I'm like, geez, and comfort food, right? Gas station food, Doritos, Twizzlers, stuff like that. I'm like, geez, people, aren't we made of more than that stuff?
Yeah, so everyone was going to get a six-pack. They hit disillusionment, and then it's ho-hos all the way.
Right, like
hos and ho-hos.
Yeah, maybe hoeing themselves up. But yeah, so I was just thinking, come on, we are made for more of this, and thank good Lord God above that I was doing 75 hard, so I didn't have a choice to do all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, that's not even an option. So I was able to.
And I think too, the same thing, like right around the time you were ending 75 hard, I was starting it.
Right.
So it was just, I won't say it's by chance because who knows, maybe some angels coordinated some business. But like we were in this go just do stuff mode. And so we couldn't faff. Ain't gonna be no Doritos in our house because of what we had set up. That's
right. And the beautiful thing about things like 75 hard or whatever, when one partner is doing it, it doesn't mean that other partner has to do it. But I supported you and you supported me, and that
we didn't do it at the same time.
I'm not doing it, but you doing it kind of keeps me on my toes in a way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
yeah, and so we have so it says, see, my first instinct when there is a disaster is to freak out mode. What would that be considered instead of lizard brain?
Freak out. Let's see. Well, that's maybe
like
you're overwhelmed and underprepared, right? Typically, if we are underprepared, that's when we freak out about stuff. Now think about it emotionally.
Well, that's pre-disaster phase, fear and uncertainty.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if I freak out, it is not because I have thought about and am well prepared about a situation. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Right. Like, okay, financially, like this thing made me go.
You're looking at the bills and you just throw them all in the air. Whoa!
But if I was a planner and we had an emergency fund, there's no need to freak out. Right. It's like we're covered.
Right. And that's a very wonderful segue into my 5 points of what to do to help make your marriage safe. Number 5, seriously, is chill the frick out. That's number 5. Because how on earth is getting upset going to make anything better? And I talk to our kids about this anytime they get hurt. And I'm not trying to say, don't cry, it doesn't hurt. But I'm trying to say, it actually doesn't improve a situation to start freaking out. And part of that is neurological. We have mirror neurons. So if I walk into this room and I look mad, like I'm about to rip your head off, what's going to happen to your body? You're going to reflect my anger back at me and go, oh gosh, she's really mad. And you can literally start a cycle of neurological reactions simply by what you choose to do in any given moment. Like, I'm going to scream and freak out. I'm going to cuss you out. I'm going to throw the bills all over the room. All of those things will only cause like a ripple that you maybe don't really want to have in the situation. Can I share my story, or are you going to get mad if I share my cut my leg open story?
Go ahead.
Why did I act sassy? How's my feelings? So the other day we were working on a project. We're building AOMHQ, which is really fun to say. Anatomy of Marriage Headquarters. We're building it in Jumbo, our shed. And I was cutting styrofoam, tiny fragments of styrofoam, because someone let our son put the insulation in the wall. And I put a piece of styrofoam on my leg. And I'm using a very sharp, brand new utility knife. And y'all, I cut a humongous gash in my leg.
Slice.
It was like surgical, because the blade was absolutely brand new, and I was just working, doing stuff. And
first rule, don't put anything you're cutting on.
I know. I was like, wow, learned a lesson there. And I don't get hurt very often, so it's kind of surprising. But I didn't even feel it because the knife was so incredibly sharp. But I looked down and saw that my pants were cut. And I wear, ladies, tight pants. There's not like tons of space between your pants piece and your leg. So I knew right away, even though I couldn't see anything, I'm like, ooh, that's probably going to be really deep. I got to get up and get in the house.
Right.
So what did I do?
You
were working, and did I cry?
No, you said, hey, Seth, I cut my leg. I think it's pretty bad. And then I didn't trip.
Right.
I stopped what I was doing, put it in there. It's like, okay, let's get you to the thing.
It was the least emotional thing at all. I didn't cry. I didn't get upset. I didn't say, I was going to be affected. I didn't do any of that. I simply walked into the house with your assistance, help take my pants off because my leg, I couldn't bend my leg. And we just worked on it. Like normal. We didn't freak out. Right.
And so luckily, back to what Chris was saying, we were prepared. I have 5 first aid kits with butterflies and ointments and all that stuff, right? So if we weren't prepared, we don't have anything, we don't have neosporin, we don't have peroxide to clean it out.
That's a whole different,
then that raises your level.
I put up peroxide in my cuts.
Well, whatever.
So number 5 is chill out, because it doesn't make anything better. This pandemic is not going to go away because you yell at someone. It's not going to get any better. In fact, to freak out makes everything worse. Just think of kids. I drive a side door. It's just, oh my gosh, stop. I'll get you a new one, right? No big deal. Number 4, do an audit of how you're actually spending your time, and then build your own productive and life-giving routine that's away from your partner. So garden, clean, write, exercise, cook, do errands for people. Find something to do alone that brings you life and joy. Netflix does not bring you life and joy. Porn does not bring you life and joy. Eating large quantities of microwave burritos does not bring you life and joy. And so that one is really audit what you're doing with your time. If you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed and bored and sad and you hate everything, look at what you're doing. How many hours are you spending on your computer or your phone or on Netflix? And then go change it on purpose. We have a routine. Tell them your routine.
Well, morning routine, wake up at 5, Voxer some coaching clients. And
do you need to wake up at 5, or do you choose to wake up at 5?
No, I choose to wake up at 5. And then I come out here and journal, drink some coffee, check emails for several accounts, and then maybe check the news, for 5 minutes. Hey, what's going on? Is the earth blowing up? No. Okay, fine. And then at 5:28, I have an alarm. Then you go to the gym, right? We go to the gym, do all of our stuff, come back, take a 5-minute cold shower, probably have another coffee, do the show, then get ready for the day, right? And so, that is the routine. And you guys, the main thing about this is being present and limiting the times where you find you're doing activities that are checking out, right? Checking out.
Right.
Netflix, tons of Doritos.
Right.
Anything like that, just scrolling on Facebook, right? Instagram, we all check out, right? Every single one of us checks out. And that's fine. It's not fine when it's more often than not we're doing that. Right. Understand? So if we want to watch a Netflix and chill, sure. Okay, hour and a half. Go, right? But all the other 22 and a half hours of the day, we're super productive.
Right. And we did it on purpose by creating a routine. Number 3 is change things up. So right now, if you got laid off from your job, now is the time that you can look into starting a job not yet. Sorry, not yet. Starting a new job, a new career, a career change. Go enroll for something like Udemy, or what's the other one? Master's series. What is it called? Masterclass. Learn a new skill. Don't just bake. You can bake, we'll do that, that's fine. But learn a new skill like audio editing or video editing, or you've always wanted to write a book, start writing your book, put it on your calendar. Do something to change up the monotony, because we are looking towards our spouse to make something different. They're not going to do it. They're their own human, and they need their own life. And so one of the ways that you can actually help your marriage is by not staring at your partner and assuming they're going to do all the things for you.
Save me, do something here, right? Because more likely than not,
they're stressed out
too with kids or work or school or what if your family was, or my family back home was sick with the pandemic, right? Do you think that would take my brain elsewhere?
Yeah,
of course it would, right? I mean, my grandma's 94. I think she'll be 95 or 94 or something.
She's 94 right
I'm
now.
worried about her.
Right.
She's the most vulnerable ever. Luckily, she's in good health and stuff. But still, you think about these things, right? So that is something to think about. Okay, next one.
Number 2. Connect in new ways. But you would ask me, what would you ask me?
Really? Connect in new ways. Here's a new way that we connected.
Do it. You're supposed to say, but Melanie, I don't know how.
But Melanie, I don't know how.
Let me tell you how.
Okay, so you guys, boom, baby. Created with love.
That looks like a pregnancy test. It's not. It's actually a travel fork.
Melanie not pregnant. So you guys, we have partnered and are sponsored by, this show is sponsored by creativewithlove.com/anatomy of marriage. What is Creative with Love, right? So Creative with Love is coordinated, curated date night boxes, right? Let's see. Show us the boxes. And this time we are going, we got one, it's called Yosemite, and we also got one
that's sharks.
So Into Hungry Waters, right? And obviously it's shark themed, which if you like sharks, which I grew up watching Shark Week, right? And the kids watch it with my mom when they go back home. Shark Week, right?
And they get terrified.
You guys, this is a stack of unopened cards, right?
Which is really, read the back of the first.
Dirty sponge. I don't know what that means.
But it's going to be fun to find
out. We haven't opened it yet, right? So you guys go to creativewithlove.com/AOM to get, this is just really fun stuff. So if you guys watched one, when was it? It was on our anniversary. Yeah. We took this date box and we had a blast. Okay, read one of the questions.
I just looked at I haven't even opened these and it says Survival Tips 101 or Survival 101. What is special about wolf mating? They mate only once, only the alphas mate, or they never mate again. That is so fun, such a funny question. It says typically the alpha male and alpha female are the only ones in the pack to mate. Weird.
I didn't know that. So talk about mating wolves.
It's a whole deck of these.
Right, but you guys, it is super fun. Taylor over at Creative with Love is super cool. We are glad to be sponsored by them. So go to creativewithlove.com/AOM to check this out.
What was the URL? Where do I go?
You go to creativewithlove.com/AOM. Thank you very much. You'll thank us later.
I forgot to show this awesome. I've wanted one of these forever.
Yeah, that's mine.
It's mine.
It.
So go to creativewithlove.com/AOM and check them out. You're going to love it.
All right. Number next
is number 1. Well, actually, let's talk about that. So do something different. Number 2 was do something different to connect in new ways. So again, go to creativewithlove.com/AOM and connect that way. Get date boxes sent to your house. But everything like conversation starters in the Anatomy of Marriage app, board games, do a Goodwill trip and buy goofy things and be silly together if your Goodwill is open. Take an online cooking class together and bake together. Like just weird, do anything. Like make things fun. Right. Do the opposite of what you normally do.
And what I don't like about is like, okay, we're not like painting a rosy view of like, just do something fun. No. Actually, one spouse, it's important for one spouse to do some research. You know your spouse. Like I could go online and look up things that I know that Melanie likes just based on me knowing her for 17 years or whatnot. So take a lead on this and do something different. I like the saying, if nothing changes, then nothing changes, right? And if you find yourself in this COVID slump of stuff, what would it look like for you to be out of this in 1 week? Right? So we're going to future cast some sort of vision. What would it look like if this...
To be out of the slump, you mean?
Yeah, to be out of the slump. Not for COVID to go away completely, right? What would it look like for you to be out of this slump 1 week from now? How can you reverse engineer that? Oh, well, I need to stop drinking as much as I have because I've definitely coped that way.
Take an audit, like we said.
Right, take an audit. Take a time audit. Take a diet audit. What are you drinking? What are you eating? What are you consuming? Like online, content. What are you reading? So just do a little tweak and see how far that gets you, and then tweak it again and tweak it again. And I promise you it will work.
And then I feel like there's something else I want to say. Whatever. Number one is have a vision and cover that vision with intention and prayer and meditation and visualization. Like one of the things that you did in 75 Hard, the third phase of it or whatever, was you did visualization like all the time. And you imagine what it looks like, because if we haven't done it before, it's very hard to do something new. Like it's hard if you're just used to your routine. You go, oh, I get up, I brush my teeth, I do that, I get the coffee, I walk over here, I sit down. But if you lay in bed at night, and we do this, really, we do this, lay in bed at night and think about what does it look like to behave differently, whether that's in marriage, whether that's just in your daily routine, and you imagine it, because your brain doesn't know if your body is engaged in it or not. But if you've imagined yourself doing it, it thinks it's done it. And it's amazing. It's like a trial run that you don't even have to actually do anything.
A really helpful thing that I journal in the morning is I write out, gratitude and all that stuff, but then I visualize myself. I say, okay, today I see you, Seth, at the end of the day, having completed 1 gallon of water, gym workout, 10 minutes visualization, reading, all this stuff. So I am setting myself up at 5:15 in the morning. Hey, at the end of the day, I see you having completed all these things. So, what does that do to my subconscious or unconscious? Oh, okay. I'm working on it in the background to push myself towards that. Oh, there's the water. Gotta get up. What's the plan? What's the plan?
And,
here we go.
Yeah, and even making a checklist like Seth has, like a daily to-do list, like written out. Ours are laminated. Ours aren't over here right now, but we have like each of us have our own laminated things that we do. Oh. You gonna bring it now. Here it is. Look at this little.
So Joe, just Google 75 Hard. You get all the information you want there. So I am now doing a thing that I made up. It's called 35 Days of Being. 35 days because it's less than 35 days to my birthday, and I started this on.
Put it on my forehead. When I started.
So stop. You're annoying me. Wake up at 5. Journal. Go to the gym. Make bed. Cold shower. 1 gallon of water, do a macro diet, which I have the my Fitness Pal app, which I paid for. Get the paid version; it's good. No alcohol, 10-minute visualization, no food after 7:30, which makes a huge difference. And then family on there to make sure that I'm checking in with family and doing stuff that is good. Right. So things like this make a difference, you guys.
And lastly, before we close, one of the things I want to say is, tools matter a lot in marriage and a successful marriage. And when you don't have the right tools, you don't have a good marriage. So go to get the Anatomy of Marriage app. That is one of the most helpful tools. I'll do that in a second. It's one of the most helpful tools because in the Anatomy of Marriage app, you have the clearing structure. You've got education around how to communicate, all of those things. It's right there for you. You don't need to search anymore. Just go get the Anatomy of Marriage app. There's a free version. There's a paid version if you want more content. Don't complain to me about the price. It's cheaper than anything else out there. And in the Anatomy of Marriage app, you will have all the tools necessary to help you survive and thrive during this stupid season. And if you need help, if you're like, okay, we've already screamed in each other's faces. We've already messed this all up. We don't know what to do. I'm fitting to call an attorney and get them papers. If that's where you feel like you're at, we want you to go, what did I say? We want you to go to Faithful Counseling. And our link for that is getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage. You can get set up with the teletherapy person. They're a real therapist. When
she says teletherapy person, she is meaning a licensed therapist, right? I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. You will be hooked up with another licensed, qualified.
They won't be as cute as Seth. I'm sorry.
They won't. A vetted professional who does this for their living, right? If you go to getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage, you guys. Counseling is real. Counseling is helpful. And sometimes we need that outside view, that objective view to be like, oh, wait a minute. What am I doing here? I didn't see it that way. You're right. I do need to reframe this negative thinking. So go to getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage to get hooked up. They provide sliding scale fees. Some insurances pay for it. Go there now. You absolutely will not regret it. You won't lose anything, right? And in fact, you will be in a better position than you are now at getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage.
And it costs less than traditional therapies. There's no offices. There's no parking lots to pay for. So it's cheaper.
Those aren't parking lots that we have to pay for.
A lot more convenient. So check it out.
Parking lot bill.
Getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage. And then before we wrap up, so we're changing up our show a little bit. If y'all haven't noticed, we didn't do pigs this morning, but you can do pigs. But we're changing stuff up. Oops, wrong thing. So instead of doing conversation starters from the app, I want to just ask you, What are a few things that you are loving right now? Are they like making you happy?
Making me happy. I am doing the 35 days of being. That makes me happy. Although sometimes you don't want to do it. I like pushing back against the resistance because when I do that, I feel really good. So that makes me happy.
You mean sometimes you don't want to do it? Not me.
Yeah, I don't want to do it. It's like that resistance. That's like, you don't want to get out of the warm bed. Well, guess what?
So, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So you push back against that, and it always feels great. So
anything
that's bringing me some jazz. Working on Jumbo, working with Matt and Paul and other people and other ideas and things that we have going on. It's just super exciting. What's up, Paul? Most people don't have the tools to fix the things in their life that are wrong. The therapist will give you those tools. Absolutely.
That's right.
The therapist will point out things that you don't see.
And Joe says, thank you guys. You changed my mindset so much. Keep it up. Thank you. Things that are bringing me joy right now, gonna be honest, is the show on Netflix called Connected. I've already watched all the episodes, but it's by one of my favorite producers, Latif Nasser from Radiolab. Oh my gosh, like I dream that show is my favorite thing ever. And then Indian matchmaking. Indian matchmaking on Netflix is like a trip into how minds work and relate. It's really interesting. I love it. We watched it with our kids.
Yeah, it's super interesting. And when you're watching Netflix, you're not just tapping out. You're not just vegging out. You've done 100 things before, so that's balance, right?
Yeah, I rarely watch TV, and I watch things that are educational or that and honestly, Indian matchmaking is highly educational from a relationship sense. But anyway, we love you guys. We're so glad that you joined us today. We look forward to seeing you on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're doing a major overhaul of AOM. We're making our AOM HQ over there. That's why I sliced my leg. And we are really excited to talk about
to launch that, to get it kicked up, to get it going, to launch this thing in a new direction that will help more people, that will be more jazzy for us and everything. So
you ready to launch it?
Yeah, I'm ready to launch it.
I was ready first.
I've been ready.
Anyway,
all right, we love you guys. Catch you Thursday. All right, see ya.
Bye.
Vibes.